Hey guys, this is the greatest sports entertainer of all time, two-time NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa. Thank you so much for having me here.
WWE, it's NXT 2.0. What is it like? What is 2.0 like? What can fans, what are they seeing? What can they expect?
I'll tell you what stayed the same, and it's what's made this place since I've been here, at least in 2015. It's the passion. And then the passion and the heartbeat comes from the crowd. It always has. They make or break guys' careers, guys and girls' careers. And it's one thing that's never been lost, whether it was Black and Gold or 2.0. Every time you walk out there, you feel that energy. And these are guys and girls in the audience and kids who come along for the journey with us. You know, you're watching superstars develop before your eyes. And to me, that's one of the coolest parts of NXT 2.0. It's the process. It's watching the process happen and watching the sink or swim atmosphere and feeling the nerves and the excitement. And the fans just contribute so much to that energy.
Well, speaking of the fans, and it's always, WWE has always had great, and still do, have great fans. So whether you were at Full Sail Live doing the show there and then now here, transforming to WWE PC, what can you sense out there when you go out there now? I mean, are you able to see the fans a little better because it's a little brighter? What is it like for you?
It is brighter. And that was actually a big change for us because it was always like a dark atmosphere for NXT. That was part of like the hard rock positioning of us. The brighter colors took a couple days to kind of get used to, you know, the transition. Just seeing facial expressions going in the crowd, it kind of reminded me when I was a kid, just watching and say Saturday Night Main Event, and you can see the fans, like clear-cut pictures of them. And I don't know, it's hard to explain as a performer what that does, but like for me, I tend to make eye contact a lot when I'm out there, whether it's my promo work, my entrance work. I'm on the cell, I'm trying to evoke an emotion. So being able to make eye contact, especially with kids, there's something, there's an untangible to that. It's something that, to me, just helps us relate more to them and kind of pulls them in a bit more to the action. So I like it. I like the feel of it. It's very comfortable for me. It also reminds me a little bit of my independent bringing up. You know, it's a smaller atmosphere, smaller venue, family feel to it, like very organic feel to it. So I don't know, it's not super different, but the differences that I've experienced so far have been pretty positive.
Tangibles, and the thing is, like you're mentioning, you relate well, and you could see also what's working and what maybe you need to tweak a little bit by being able to do that. And that's not an easy thing to do though, but you've been able to do it. You've been wrestling for the years, so you know how to do that and what could tell. I would think it might be a little more challenging for a younger wrestler. Yeah, right, yeah. Is that something you try to teach the younger wrestlers? Yeah, and I think everybody has strong suits, you know what I mean? It's like any sport that you're going to perform in. You know your weaknesses and your strengths, and a strength of mine has always been my ability to adapt on the fly. I'm very, I don't pat myself on the back or something, I'm very good at just having a plan and a structure in my head and then seeing something, and maybe the audience is reacting in a way I wasn't expecting, or better or less than, and just being able to adapt and change to that. So that's something that on the fly, audibly, anybody new coming into this business, you can't get that experience without being out in front of people. And that was a challenging thing for the last couple of years, is having smaller crowds and not feeling that energy and not being able to react off of that live experience. And that's something that's really cool. There's something to be said as far as working in front of 500 as opposed to 5,000 or 15,000 too. The energy or the volume of the crowd is different, and your reaction time to that noise is different. It's a bit of a faster pace when it's a smaller venue like this. So there's just a lot of things. I think fortunately myself and guys like Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano, so many other Santos can take that experience that they garnered all around the world and bring it here and hopefully help, you know, teach guys on the fly, as opposed to sitting in a classroom with somebody. You're literally teaching them on-the-job skills. And you mentioned that too, the smaller venues, when NXT and the NXT Superstars were doing the house shows, and you had those smaller venues and all, that was a way to learn. Now it's more or less, you're learning here.
Yes.
And talent's learning here.
And the huge difference too is learning on a live event and learning on television is night and day, man. The comparison, it's impossible to make. Understanding cameras, understanding time cues, understanding commercial breaks, ad breaks, picture-in-picture breaks. Some of the jargon might not even make sense, but it's I couldn't fathom being in my first 3 to 5 years of pro wrestling and trying to learn the move sets and my character and what I'm comfortable doing, and learning a television product. I don't think I would have done so well. So kudos to the men and women who are doing it right now, because it's a task. It's a whole new thing you have to think about, and anxiety that goes with it. Fortunately for some of us, we've been doing it for a bit, so it becomes a bit second nature. But when you're doing it for the first time, I mean, you know, some of the stories I guess I even have with some of the newer talent, it's exhilarating for me, because now it puts me in a new position of, I guess in a sense, leading or teaching, and a new responsibility, and so that it's a different pressure. I don't know, it's exciting in a way, right? Because it's just a different challenge. It
is very exciting because you're doing well for yourself, but you're also helping others and going through their whole process of becoming a superstar.
For me, I just feel that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's only going to benefit me to put me in this position. You know, so I'm enjoying that aspect.
What do you enjoy here with the different types of fans that you get? You see families here, you see older fans, you see the teenagers, the 20s, 30s, males in there as well. What is it like seeing all the different types of fans and what it draws here?
So, I mean, it's pro wrestling, right? If you love it and you understand it, you need no reasoning, you need no excuse. If you don't understand it, you don't love it, no excuse is going to be good enough for you. It's just the way it is. Our fan base is very loyal. Our fan base is enthusiastic and energetic. And it's a community sense, family sense. I don't know exactly what the term would be for it, but there's something about, like, it's a team atmosphere. Like, I would almost compare it in a smaller scale to, like, if your college team is Michigan, that loyalty you have, that I'm going to wear the colors, I'm going to come cheer my team, win, lose, doesn't matter, I'm in, I'm all in. Players are going to change, coaching staffs might shift, I'm in. And I feel like that's NXT, you know, it's a college vibe feel, both in the back, in the locker room, and with the crowd and the fans, their experience. Everybody's kind of in it together. It's very cool.
It's about the name on the front of the shirt more than the name on the back of the shirt.
We've been saying, you know, it's a We Are NXT, and it's as true today as it was when I got here in 2015, as it was in 2012 when I was watching TakeOver Arrival and saying, that's where I want to be, or 2013, whatever. Yeah. It's the same concept, you know?
You mentioned University of Michigan. I know someone would be happy that you mentioned that, actually.
Yeah, so do I.
Were you a Steiner Brothers fan?
Of course. Who wasn't a Steiner Brother? Yeah, of course. I joked in the past that to Bron, when I first met him at the Performance Center, I said, hey, I don't just want to meet your dad. I want to meet my buddy. Like, I want to hang out with him. I want to grill some steaks with him. Like, I was a big Steiner Brothers fan as a kid, and it's hard not to. You know? Larger than life, colorful, humongous. They're awesome.
What do you think about the kid?
He's great.
Wow.
He really is, man. The potential is unlimited. Good head on his shoulders. I've done quite a bit with him now. Obviously, his television experience in his career has been intertwined with mine. We even went to the UK together. It was his first time out of the country. So that's a whole different experience, right? Like, we're doing stuff on television in the ring together. But then you also get to be like, hey, yeah, when we're in England, the power sockets are different. You know, it's like the food's a little different. Like, it's cool. You know, you hit a gym on the road together or whatever. He's good. He's got potential. He's got it in his blood. Like, there's a difference too of that second generation, third generation thing. Something about growing up around it. When you talk to them, they understand it at a different level, and that's a good thing. He's a sponge. He has an understanding of this. Obviously, I wasn't even wrestling when Kurt Angle started, but it feels to me from the stories I read about Kurt Angle, this is as close as I've ever seen of somebody walking in January, being in match 16 tonight in a ladder match, then going to be in War Games. He's already headlined a pay-per-view. He's been to the UK. That's crazy, right?
Yes.
Can you imagine match 16? It's crazy.
Two more questions to wrap this up. Thank you so much. The experience of being at the WWE Performance Center and the change with the Performance Center, because it's had to go through a change with having the shows here and everything like that.
Right.
What has it just been like, just the whole transformation for the superstars to adjust to the different areas?
So, not as drastic as I think some may think, especially for me. I mean, this has been my home for 6 years or so now. Looks different, but the feel, the vibe, the community. Coach Hayes is our strength coach. I always say he's our secret weapon. He's been here since I've walked in the doors. That's all the same, you know. So it's again maybe a different layout. We have another building now that has some more rings, a lot of enhancements as far as just creatively what you can do with working on cameras and doing stuff with our production team and stuff. A lot of behind the scenes stuff that you can now develop, the acting coaches in here. There's just a lot of tools at your disposal if you want them. But for me, it's very similar. It's again, not to go back to the college thing, but yes, it's a group of tight-knit men and women. You're going through the trenches together, you know what I mean? Like you're putting the work in here. It adds an element to your trust with somebody and the way you work with somebody when you sweat with them. Sweat equity is big.
Sweat equity, I like that.
So if we're squatted next to each other, if we're spotting each other on a bench press, and then we're training together, and we're getting in the ring together, it just adds a different vibe, a different team feel, you know?
And lastly,
which you can hear right now. Like
I can hear that in the background. I know everybody's getting ready for the big show tonight.
The show's kicking off in 1 minute, and it's acting. It's that quick pep talk. It's that quick there's a lot of people right now behind you sitting at a monitor waiting just to cheer on their buddies, you know.
And that's NXT 2.0, 8 p.m. USA Network, Tuesday nights. Catch that there. And for fans that want to come to the show, and this is where we're going to end it, is the sense that this is free. This is free. There's a registration process, but you're seeing all this great talent, like yourself and many others, and you're seeing these great matches, and it's free. And what can you say about that?
So I was a kid who grew up in Boston, Mass. I couldn't imagine growing up this close to a television studio, essentially, that's putting on an actual live product on USA, like cable television, and being, I can watch like television superstars. I mean, because I did go to independent shows, of course, but like this is the real deal. Like this is, so it's cool, man. Like,
and you had to pay a little admission to go to the indie shows too.
You did,
something.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, that's cool, and that's like I said in the beginning, it's watching and being a part of the growth development. Like you get to do that here. I feel like the fans here feel like they're part of your success, and you also will notice if you get to chat with any of them, the fans like develop their own bonds, right? Like they're talking on bus rides to and from the shows. They're talking about what they like, what they didn't like. They're developing opinions together. They're watching. Like it's just it's a special vibe, man. Especially like sometimes I'm lucky enough that I'll get to end a TV taping and then off air talk to them and share some time with them, take photos with them. And that's some of the coolest parts for me, is that off camera, there's nothing fake about it, there's an intimacy to it. There's a lot of fans out there now, I can just, you know, I spot them, I know them by name, or I know them by their look, or where they're sitting, or whatever it is. So that's a cool feel. And I can only imagine on their end, it's gotta be pretty special, you know?
That is just awesome, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I so appreciate all continued success, NXT 2.0.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it.